Smokey and the Bandit.
Yes, he called. We just wrapped Sybil. I was sort of dragging myself around in some.
Sally,
Yeah.
since you said your best on-screen kiss was with James Garner in Murphy's Romance.
The worst kiss I ever had after 45 years. Sally Field finally reveals the shocking truth about Smokey and the Bandit. From Burt Reynolds' secret drug use to the terrible script she almost rejected, Field exposed what really happened on the set of the 1977 classic. But the most surprising revelation was why she refused to speak to Reynolds for the last 30 years of his life. Let's get into the details. Sally Field was born on November 6, 1946, in Pasadena, California. Her childhood was shaped by two very different worlds. Her mother, Margaret Field, was an actress working with Paramount Pictures, bringing the glitz and glam of Hollywood into Sally's early life. Her father, Richard Dryden Field, was an army officer, adding strict discipline and structure. This mix of glamour and order shaped Sally into someone resilient and strong. When Sally was only 4 years old, her parents got divorced. It was a painful event that stayed with her throughout her life. A few years later, in 1952, her mother married Jock Mahoney, a stuntman and actor. But instead of bringing happiness, this marriage added more darkness to Sally's life. Years later, in her 2018 memoir In Pieces, Sally revealed the terrible truth that Mahoney took advantage of her during her teenage years. She carried this secret for decades, and it shaped the way she saw the world and herself. Despite the pain at home, Sally found an escape. She spent a lot of time on film sets with her mother, watching the magic of Hollywood come to life. This sparked a passion in her for acting and storytelling. At school, Sally began to use acting as a way to express herself and escape from her troubled home life. While she was at Portola Middle School and later Birmingham High School in Van Nuys, she discovered she had a natural talent for performing. Acting became more than just something she enjoyed, it was her way to cope with everything happening in her life. One day, when Sally was 17, she went to a high school party that changed her life. A talent agent noticed her and suggested she audition for an acting workshop at Columbia Studios. This small suggestion ended up being the start of something much bigger. Sally joined the workshop and worked hard for 8 weeks, learning how to act alongside other young talents. It was a tough program, but it helped her grow. During this time, she impressed casting director Marcia Levy, who was looking for fresh faces for a new TV series. Sally stood out because of her natural charm and the emotional depth she brought to her performances. Sally's first big role came in 1965 when she was cast as the lead in Gidget. This TV show followed the life of Frances "Gidget" Lawrence, a teenage surfer girl in Southern California. Sally was just 18 years old, but she beat 75 other actresses to get the role. Her performance was full of life, making Gidget relatable and lovable, especially for teenage viewers. The show premiered in September 1965, and while it was fun and fresh, it ended after just one season, with the last episode airing in April 1966. Many thought this would end Sally's career before it really began, but something surprising happened. The reruns of Gidget became a hit during the summer, especially with teenage audiences. This unexpected success made Sally a star and proved that she could truly connect with people. After Gidget, ABC wanted to find another project for Sally. That's how she ended up starring in The Flying Nun. This unusual show, which premiered on September 7, 1967, cast Sally as Sister Bertrille, a young nun who could fly because of her lightweight and the large cornet she wore. The idea was strange, but Sally brought warmth and charm to the role, making Sister Bertrille a character audiences loved. The show ran for 3 seasons with a total of 82 episodes and became a cultural hit. But behind the scenes, Sally was struggling. She later admitted she didn't enjoy working on The Flying Nun. In fact, she said she hated it. In the early 1970s, when she was in her mid-20s, she desperately wanted to play mature and complex characters, but Hollywood kept offering her the same sweet, innocent roles, which frustrated her deeply. In 1972, Field decided to take a big risk by appearing topless in the film Stay Hungry. This shocked her fans and many people in the industry. She hoped the move would prove she could play different kinds of roles, but it didn't work out the way she wanted. The film wasn't widely released and didn't change how people saw her. Feeling stuck, Field made an even riskier decision. For nearly 3 years, from 1973 to 1976, she refused to accept any sitcom roles. This could have ended her career, but she was determined to break away from her squeaky clean image. During this time, Field joined the Actors Studio in Los Angeles, where she studied under the legendary teacher Lee Strasberg. She threw herself into her training, spending long days working on her craft and going to auditions. She was so frustrated with her career that she even thought about giving up acting. In a 1976 interview, she said, "I was ready to work as a waitress or do anything else. I just couldn't stand being trapped in that sugary sweet image forever." Her determination finally paid off in 1976, but the struggle left a mark on her. In her 2018 memoir In Pieces, Field revealed that during this time she battled depression and an eating disorder. The pressure to reinvent herself was overwhelming, but she refused to give up. One of the pivotal moments came with her role in Stay Hungry, directed by Bob Rafelson. The film was a comedy drama about bodybuilding. Field played Mary Tate, a gym receptionist who falls for a wealthy man named Craig Blake, played by Jeff Bridges. This role was shocking for audiences because it included a scene where Field appeared partially nude. She later admitted she was terrified to take the role because of the nudity, saying, "I had never done anything like that before and I wasn't sure I could." To prepare, she went on a strict diet and exercise plan, losing 10 pounds to look the part. The film also introduced Arnold Schwarzenegger in his first major acting role. He played a bodybuilder named Joe Santo, and Field later said she admired his dedication despite his inexperience. Stay Hungry was released in April 1976, but it wasn't a big box office success, earning only $5 million. However, the film gained a cult following over time, and critics praised Field's performance. Roger Ebert even called her touching and vulnerable. The film also earned Schwarzenegger a Golden Globe for New Star of the Year, marking the start of his acting career. Later that same year, Field landed her most career-defining role in the TV miniseries Sybil. The story, based on a true account, followed a woman with dissociative identity disorder caused by severe childhood abuse. This role was incredibly demanding because Field had to play not just Sybil but 13 distinct personalities. Each one had its own voice, mannerisms, and emotional depth. To prepare, Field spent 6 months researching the disorder, working with a dialect coach and observing patients in psychiatric wards. She took the role very seriously, knowing it was her chance to prove herself as a serious actress. The filming of Sybil was intense. It lasted 12 weeks, with Field often working 16-hour days. In one emotional scene, she had to reenact a traumatic memory where Sybil was tied to a table. The scene was so physically demanding that Field dislocated her shoulder but insisted on finishing the take. She poured everything she had into the role, determined to give her best performance. When Sybil aired on NBC in November 1976, it was a huge success. Over 92 million people watched it, nearly half of the U.S. population at the time. Critics praised Field's performance, calling it groundbreaking. She won her first Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress, and in her emotional acceptance speech she said, "This means more to me than I can possibly say. It validates everything I've been working towards for the past decade." The success of Sybil changed Field's career forever. She went from being seen as a lightweight TV actress to a serious and talented performer. Reflecting on this breakthrough, Field said it was as if she had been invisible before, and suddenly people could see her. In 1977, Sally Field's career took a surprising turn when she was cast in Smokey and the Bandit. Before this, Sally was mainly known for her roles in TV shows like Gidget and The Flying Nun. She wasn't someone people thought of for action movies, but Burt Reynolds, who was already a big star, insisted she should play the part. The studio didn't agree at first. They wanted a glamorous actress, but Burt convinced them she was perfect for the role. Filming began on May 23, 1977, in Georgia. The budget was small, just $4.3 million, and the summer heat was intense, often hitting 35 degrees Celsius. This made the car chase scenes especially difficult to shoot. Burt was 41 and at the peak of his career, while Sally, at 30, was eager to leave her TV image behind and prove herself in movies. Despite the challenges, the set had a fun and playful vibe because Burt loved pulling practical jokes on everyone. The movie premiered on May 27, 1977, and became an unexpected hit, making over $126 million at the box office. It was so successful that it led to 2 sequels. For Sally, it was a major breakthrough, helping her move from television to film. For Burt and Sally, it was also the beginning of a personal relationship that would become a big part of both their lives. From the start, Sally and Burt had undeniable chemistry. Sally later wrote in her memoir in pieces that their connection was immediate. She said, "We had known each other about 3 days, 4 days at that point, but it felt like 4 years." Their instant bond showed on screen and made their characters' relationship feel real, which played a big role in the film's success. Their attraction quickly grew into a real-life romance. Sally was drawn to Burt's charm and confidence. Burt, 11 years older than Sally, was known for his rugged good looks and magnetic personality. They would often spend time together between takes, and the crew noticed how strong their connection was. Jerry Reed, Burt's co-star, once said, "You could cut the tension with a knife. It was like watching 2 teenagers in love." Even though their relationship started with excitement and passion, problems appeared early on. Burt was used to being the center of attention, and he struggled when Sally started getting more recognition. During one event promoting the movie, fans asked for Sally's autograph more than his, and Burt was visibly upset. This was a small glimpse of the challenges they would face as their relationship went on. Sally later described it as passionate, but also confusing and difficult. She said there was love and care, but there were also many problems. One of the biggest issues was Burt's controlling behavior. In her memoir, she wrote, "From the moment I walked through the door, it was a way to control me." Burt often tried to dictate her career choices and personal decisions, which caused a lot of tension. Moving on, Sally Field's life changed forever when she starred in Norma Rae in 1979. The part wasn't meant for her at first. Big stars like Jane Fonda had been considered, but when Sally got the chance, she gave it her all. To prepare, she worked in a real textile mill in Alabama for weeks. She wanted to understand what life was like for working-class women. On set, she was fearless. She even did her own stunts, including the famous scene where she stands on a table holding a Union sign. That scene was filmed in a noisy, hot mill, and Sally had to do it again and again until it was perfect. The movie became a hit, earning $22 million, which was a lot back then. Critics loved Sally's performance. They said she made her character tough but also vulnerable, which felt very real. Sally won several big awards for her work, and in 1980 she won her first Oscar for Best Actress. During her speech, she thanked the real-life woman her character was based on and the movie's director. This moment proved to everyone that Sally was more than just a TV star. She could handle deep, dramatic roles. That same year, Norma Rae was shown at the Cannes Film Festival in France. Sally was excited but also nervous. She wasn't used to being around big names like Francis Ford Coppola, who was there with Apocalypse Now. Sally even made some funny mistakes, like packing the wrong clothes for the cool weather. She had to wrap herself in her hotel's blanket to stay warm. When her movie played at the festival, Sally sat in the theater feeling terrified. At first, there was silence when the movie ended, and she thought the audience hated it. But then they stood up and clapped for 10 minutes. Sally was overwhelmed. A few days later, she won the Best Actress award at Cannes. It was a huge moment, showing the world how talented she was. While her career was taking off, her relationship with Burt Reynolds started falling apart. They had been dating since 1976, but Burt didn't seem happy about Sally's success. At first, he supported her, but as she started winning awards and getting more attention, he became distant and jealous. When she told him about going to Cannes, he made a rude comment, saying she wouldn't win anything. Later, as more awards came her way, Burt's behavior got worse. He would sulk or say mean things, and Sally could feel their connection fading. Things got really bad before the Oscars in 1980. Sally was nominated for Best Actress, but Burt refused to go with her. He even told a magazine that Hollywood didn't care about real acting, which felt like a dig at her. Sally was hurt, but didn't let it stop her. Her friends David and Judy Steinberg offered to take her to the ceremony. They made the night fun by picking her up in a limo with champagne. On the red carpet, Sally smiled and told reporters that Burt had a prior commitment. That night, Sally won the Oscar. She looked so happy on stage, thanking the people who helped with the movie. She didn't mention Burt at all. His absence showed how much their relationship had changed. Even though they stayed together for a couple more years, things were never the same. Sally's success had created a gap between them that couldn't be fixed.